kick it, Jackie Chan.
Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett.
The youngest wanna kick it, Jackie Chan.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video here on the Water Juice channel, and welcome to another special one for you. I got a very interesting concept today. So you already know by the title and the thumbnail what the concept is, but let's just get right down to brass tacks. So everybody knows that this weekend has been all about the fantasy playoffs, the fantasy championship games, the fantasy football Super Bowl for many people is this weekend. Some games were Saturday, some games are today. So why not see if my fantasy football team from this past season could win a Super Bowl in Madden 23. I thought this would be a pretty fun idea. Thought it'd be a pretty interesting one, a little change of pace. I don't think anybody's ever tried this in franchise mode, so I thought might as well be the first one to do it. So let's get to it. A little bit of background. I was the defending champion. I won my fantasy league last season. I was the defending champ coming into this year. I lost my first week, but then I went on an unbelievable run, almost identical to what I had last year, because last season I lost my first week, and then I went undefeated throughout the playoffs, never lost a single game, and won the championship. This year was a little bit different. I was undefeated after losing the first week, and then I went all the way through until the final week of the season, and I lost. The final week of the regular season for us is week 15. So I lost week 15, and I ended up at 13-2. So I still was the number one seed in the playoffs, and I went into the divisional round, or the first round, the semifinals, because we only have 4 people who make our postseason. Our league is a little different. We don't have a lot of people. We have a 10-team league, so we have a 4-person semifinal, and then a 2-person final, obviously. So I went into it as the number one seed going up against the 4 seed, and I got beat. Yeah, I got beat. So the defending champion goes out in the first round last week. I was very upset. I was a little angry that I couldn't defend my championship in the finals. But hey, it is what it is. That's what happens in fantasy football. My team was hit with some heavy injuries this year. I had drafted Cooper Kupp. Obviously, we know Cooper Kupp got hurt for a while during this season. He's still out. I had Dameon Pierce, and towards the end of the year, he got hurt. I got hurt with I got hit with some big injuries, and I got hit with just some players that I was going up against having really big games. Like I ended up winning this week, but I ended up playing the week that I played against AJ Brown, the week that he had those 3 touchdowns and like 150 yards or whatever he had. That was a crazy week, and he had like 50 points in fantasy. It was crazy. But I ended up winning that game, or that week. That was pretty crazy too. So I thought, you know what? It might be a pretty fun idea. Can the fantasy team that I drafted redeem themselves from losing in the division or in the semifinals in real life fantasy football to in Madden 23? Can they translate? So I've put together my team. Oh, and by the way, how I chose the team was I chose whatever defense I had drafted, which happens to be the Eagles. So I had the Eagles defense drafted, so I just put all of the offensive skill position players on the Eagles team along with the Eagles offensive line, because our fantasy team doesn't draft offensive line. So I used the Eagles team as a base, and then I just put all the skill position guys on the Eagles. So I figured it'd be easier than to transport all the defensive players from the Eagles onto a different. That just wouldn't make sense. So I just put everybody on the Eagles. That's why we're the Eagles. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any comments about your fantasy football teams. Did your fantasy team win the Super Bowl? I don't know. Mine obviously didn't. So let me know down below who was your number 1 overall pick in your fantasy league this year. So let me know down below. I'd be curious to see that. But without further ado, it's time to see if my fantasy football team can win a Super Bowl in Madden 23. Okay, here we are. It is week 1. We're only going to do one season until the playoffs and see if this team can even make the playoffs. I don't know, but let's unveil the team. You obviously don't know who it is. The team name is right up there, Big Mac 2. Actually, it's Big Mac times 2, but I couldn't put an X for some reason. It wouldn't let me. Like, it wouldn't let me do times 2, so I just did Big Mac 2. Obviously, for Mac Jones, I'm a Patriots fan. But this is my team. I drafted Josh Allen. I drafted Tua Tagovailoa. We're a 2-quarterback league in our fantasy. I drafted Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa. Actually, I didn't draft Tua. He got let go after he had those concussions, and I picked him up. I drafted Josh Jacobs, Damian Pierce, Kenneth Walker, Ramondre Stevenson. Those are the 4 running backs. We have a 4 running back. Well, we don't have to have 4 running backs. I just like to have 4 running backs to have one as my flex position. I drafted Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp. I got Chris Godwin off of waivers because he wasn't picked up by anybody. Garrett Wilson I had drafted. Chris Olave I drafted. And obviously you know about Cooper Kupp, so if I could get over there. So I had those 2 guys, but Cooper Kupp unfortunately was injured so for most of the year. The offensive line doesn't matter because it's the Eagles' offensive line. I didn't draft David Njoku. I drafted Darren Waller, but Darren Waller got hurt, so I moved him for David Njoku, but then I ended up picking back up Darren Waller towards the end of the season, but when I made this roster, David Njoku was my tight end. So that's the offense. The defense is the base Philadelphia Eagles team that I didn't make any changes to this because this is what I drafted. I drafted the Philadelphia Eagles defense, so this is what we get. We get the entire Philadelphia Eagles defense. The kicker I drafted was Dylan Carlson, so we have Dylan Carlson on here. We do run kickers in our league. I know a lot of teams or a lot of players don't use kickers in their fantasy leagues, but our league does use a kicker. So this is my team. Josh Allen I thought was pretty good all year. He kind of had a little bit of a slump towards the end of the year, kind of threw himself out of the MVP conversations, but hey, he did a decent job. And yeah, I think this team can make the playoffs. I don't think this team can win a Super Bowl. I don't really expect them to, but you never know. Maybe we can go on a little bit of a run. Everything else is the same. I'm the head coach, and no other rosters have been changed. I literally just copied and pasted what I had in my fantasy team onto a Madden 23 roster. So we're going to simulate to the halfway point of the season. We are a 96 offense, 87 defense, and a 91 overall. So I drafted a 96 offense in Madden. I'd say that's pretty awesome. Well, we're going to simulate to the halfway point of the season, see where everybody's at, see how everybody's doing, what the stats are doing, and see, most importantly, how this team is performing on the field, what's the record. And then we'll go to the end of the season, see the playoffs, hopefully, see the final season stats. So I will see you guys at the mid-season mark of the season. That doesn't really make any sense. You know what I mean. Okay, so we're at the midway point of the season, and I might have just drafted myself an amazing team, although the NFC East in this simulation is cracked. The Commanders are 5-2, and the Cowboys are 5-2, and the Giants are 4-3. So, I mean, everybody in this division is competitive this early part of the season, but I might have drafted myself a very solid team if we're 5-1 and leading the division. Josh Allen's having a good year, I would assume. Tyreek Hill, this defense is playing amazing. So let's go take a look at the stats through the halfway point and see just how good everybody's doing. Josh Allen through the first half of the season, 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, to just 4 picks. I'd say that's pretty good. Picks. And we've got rushing Josh Jacobs, 113 carries already, 491 yards and 10 touchdowns. I think we're still running Philadelphia playbooks. I didn't change any of that stuff. So whatever happens, happens. Cooper Kupp and Chris Godwin both have 27 catches, 439 yards and 4 touchdowns for Kupp, 416 yards and 3 touchdowns for Godwin. Tyreek Hill not really getting a whole lot of yards, which is surprising because he's the number 1. He's got 25 catches, 334 yards and a touchdown. David Njoku also getting involved a little bit. Then we go to the defensive side of things, which you don't really care about too much, but I did draft the Eagles defense, so they are getting me 56 tackles with Kaiser White, 42 with TJ Edwards, 40 with James Bradbury. We got 4.5 sacks with Hassan Reddick. Brandon Graham has 3. We got 1.5 Fletcher Cox, 1 with Maddox. Got a few interceptions as well. Maddox, Bradbury, Darius Slay, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and Marcus Epps all have 1. So that is where we're sitting at the halfway point of this season, this one-season simulation, to see if we can win the Super Bowl and avenge my loss in the fantasy playoffs. Let's simulate to the end of the season. Hopefully we continue this hot streak and we walk into the wild card and don't have to do anything because we have a bye. That's the hope. Let's see if we actually complete it. Okay, so we make it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, we ended up losing 5 games towards the end of the year, and we lost the division to the Cowboys. So we play the Cowboys in the wild card, so that's kind of sucky. I was hoping we win the division and not have to worry about that. Maybe have the best record of the NFC, but that obviously didn't happen. So let's take a look at the stats, see how everybody did for the full entire year. Josh Allen finished with 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Very solid season for Josh Allen, something I would expect when he's got weapons like Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Josh Jacobs. I would expect him to have a solid year like this. 286 carries for Josh Jacobs, 1,400 yards, and 17 touchdowns. A fantastic year from Josh Jacobs. Cooper Kupp had 1,300 yards on 82 catches, 12 touchdowns. David Njoku also got involved a lot more towards the end of the season, 7 touchdowns for him. Chris Godwin got involved a lot, 9 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill didn't get involved as much. Maybe if he would have been in the slot, he would have been open to, or he would have been involved a little bit more. I don't know. It's hard to tell. He was just such a high overall that he had to be the number one. So that's what the offense looked like. And on defense, 169 tackles. Nice. For Kaiser White, 142 for TJ Edwards. That's insane, the amount of tackles these guys were getting. Then Darius Slay at 92, Gardner Johnson at 91, 83 for Bradbury. We had 11.5 sacks for Hassan Reddick. Fletcher Cox had 8, 6.5 for Josh Sweat. 3 interceptions for Gardner Johnson, 2 for Slay and Bradbury. I mean, we were doing some work on defense, just not good enough to get the 1 seed in the NFC, which is a little bit upsetting, but hey, we gotta do it. The official bracket is the Colts and Niners are the 1 seeds. Then you've got the Patriots, Steelers, Chiefs, Browns, Ravens, Dolphins, and Vikings, Seahawks, Bucks, Giants, and us and the Cowboys. All right, so we've got a tough matchup against the Cowboys. They obviously beat us, and they're 12-5, so we'll see if we can go into this game and hopefully get the W.
It's the opening round of the NFL playoffs, and EA Sports continues its coverage of Super Wild Card Weekend. It's the Eagles and the Cowboys on Monday night.
We are sandwiched between Fort Worth and Dallas, Texas, and Arlington at the luxurious AT&T Stadium. Tonight we continue with Wild Card Weekend with what should be a great one between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the postseason on EA Sports. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, that's really all I need to say to get you fired up. It's the postseason on EA Sports.
And no one's more fired up than the guys who are going to be playing in this game. This is what they fought for all year long. Go back to the OTAs, the mini camps, training camp, throughout the season to get to the playoffs. The intensity level will be off the charts.
Okay, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to see if this Eagles team can move on to the divisional. We lead 3-0. Now it's 7-0. Not a good start for the boys. Down 14-3. Come on, guys. I don't want to jump in this early. There we go. 14-10 after the touchdown. Get the ball back and get some more points. Come on. We got such a great offense. We got to be able to score some points. There it is. 17-14 after the touchdown. But now the Cowboys score again. It's 21-17. Now it's 28-17. Come on, guys. The Cowboys offense is not that great. It's just the normal Cowboys offense. All right, I'm jumping in here. 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, down 17-28. Come on, guys. Josh Allen looks weird with the number 13 on his back. Is that not what he wears in Buffalo? I don't know. I don't know what number he wears in Buffalo. He could. I think he wears 17 in Buffalo. I'm pretty sure that's what he wears. Get the first down there. Now it's 3rd and 4. I'm gonna have to check this to Njoku. That was a scuff throw, but it worked. That was a very scuff throw, but it ended up working out in our favor anyway, so I'll take it. Josh Jacobs. I kind of want to run the ball with Josh, but I mean, we don't really have a lot of time to be able to run this ball with Josh. So we're just gonna have to like heave this to Tyreek Hill or something. Let him do his thing. That somehow got caught. Anthony Barr didn't make the play on it. I don't know how he caught that. I thought Anthony Barr was going to knock that down. Tyreek catches it. And now we go same kind of situation we're in with this. I don't really know what to go with this. We don't really have anybody open. Stoll catches it at the 3. I didn't really have anybody that I liked there. None of the guys on the fantasy team are here. Now they are. They were just all sitting out for some reason. I don't know what was going on there. Can I fit that in there? Oh. That's my fault. I tried to fit that in, and it got picked off. Yeah, we're going to lose. We are going to lose this game to the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card. So I guess my team's not good enough to win a Super Bowl in Madden 23. Even though we started out 5-1, we lose in the wild card round to the Dallas Cowboys. Probably a little bit of my doing, but still, the simulation couldn't get the job done. The defense kind of sucked, allowing 35 points, and we failed. Just like in real life in my fantasy team. So no big letdowns there because I was already expecting it. All right, so we might as well just extend or simulate to the Super Bowl and find out who's going to win just to, for continuity reasons, since we got to the playoffs here. It's a little sad that I couldn't win a Super Bowl with my fantasy football lineup. I feel like it was good enough to do it. Maybe if I would have drafted a better defense, we would have done better. Maybe if I would have taken the Cowboys defense, we would have done it. I don't know what would have happened there. But we simulate it's Chiefs and Vikings in the Super Bowl, so the Cowboys didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. Who's going to win? It is the Chiefs. Congratulations to Patrick Mahomes. He gets another Super Bowl ring. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is the MVP. That just, like, for 1 second didn't register, but then it did. Carson Wentz is the MVP on the Commanders. Zeke and TJ Watt are the players of the year. Christian Watson and Aiden Hutchinson are the defensive rookies of the year, or are the rookies of the year. That's crazy. That didn't register at first for me that Carson Wentz won the MVP, but then it did. It like hit me like a truck. That was crazy. But that's going to do it for this video. It was only a 1-year simulation to see if my fantasy football team could win a Super Bowl in Madden 23. Unfortunately, they couldn't. They made the playoffs, made the wild card, but they could not get the job done, could not move any further. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, let me know down below in the comments section. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. I always appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.